When you read Galatians chapter 1 verse 15, Paul said, even before I was born, I was called and chosen by God by his marvelous grace. And I think it's a very powerful principle. There is a principle there that we can apply in our marriages. And it means that we don't have to give up on people. We don't have to give up on our spouses. Because when you study the history of Paul, you realize that he used to be Saul and he was persecuting the church. The death of Stephen was even instigated by him. But look at the drastic change when he had an encounter with Jesus Christ. He was able to change, metamorphosed to be a different man. And God was using him to preach the gospel of grace to the Gentiles. So it tells you that if, let's say that Paul was your husband and he was making bad choices, persecuting the church, you may say that, well, let me leave him because he is not making good choices. But look at what happened. Paul said he was even chosen by God even before he was born. So although there was a destiny on his life, he was making some bad choices and was messing his life up, but God was able to use him. So we don't have to give up on people because your husband or your wife that you are complaining and murmuring that he's not making good decisions or she's not making good decisions and I just want to throw him or her away. I just want to take flight. My dear, be careful. There may be a destiny on your husband or on your wife's life that you have to nurture. You have to be patient with him or patient with her and pray for him or her. Pray for your spouse. Pray that God will help him or her to make wise and godly decisions. Don't give up on your spouse. Don't give up on him or her. Don't say that because of what is going on in his life. Because look at Paul. I just look at his life. Look at what he was doing. Some of the bad choices that he was making. And I'm asking you, if Paul, who used to be Saul, was your husband, wouldn't you have said that, well, I have to leave this man? He is even persecuting the church. But God was able to use him to reach the Gentiles. He became one of the greatest apostles. So my dear, don't give up on your spouse. That is my message for you. Look at even Peter. Look at Peter. Peter denied Jesus 3 times, but he was the rock on which Jesus built his church. God was able to use him to do marvelous things. So the future, there may be something in his or her future. There is a destiny waiting for him or her. So you just encourage him or her and pray for your spouse. Encourage your spouse and pray for him. Don't give up on him because sometimes things may be turning around. There may be some turnaround in 1 year time or 2 years time. But if you give up on him right now, another woman or another gentleman will come and benefit from your hard work. Maybe you stood by this man when he was making bad decisions, when he was making messy decisions, when he didn't even know his left and right. And now he has come back to his senses. He has changed. He has turned into a new leaf. And you have already dejected him and rejected him. And another woman will find him and will say, you are such a wonderful husband. You are such a wonderful man. But you were able to stand by him when he was making all those bad decisions. So remember that what your husband or your wife may be doing right now will not be the thing that he or she will do in the future. Things may change. Things may turn around. So encourage him or her. Encourage him or her. And at the same time, pray for him or her. And as I said, my point is, don't give up on your spouse. That is what I'm talking about. If your spouse is like Judas, Judas was not able to change. And at the end of the day, he committed suicide. If your husband or your wife do not change, okay? Or if your husband or your wife continues to do what he or she is doing, his attitude or her attitude will be a suicidal point for him. Okay, that thing that he or she is doing, okay, it will be something that will choke him or her. He is not doing it against you. He is doing against him or herself. Whatever your spouse is doing in the marriage, because the Bible says you reap what you sow. When you read Galatians chapter 6 verse 7, he said, don't be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. So if your husband or your wife is doing something that is not right, and you have been praying and encouraging him or her, but he is not ready to turn around from his bad ways, to turn around from her bad ways, remember that whatever that he is doing, he or she is doing something or sowing a seed that will come back to hurt him or her in the future. So you will never lose if you continue to do good in your marriage, because you reap what you sow. As you continue to do good, as you continue to sow good seeds in your marriage, you continue to sow love, patience, okay? You continue to sow peace in your marriage. Definitely you will reap it. And God knows what you're doing in secret, and he will repay you at the right time.